Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Arrgh, this is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Oh, this is crazy. I love this. I like this idea. For the love of Mike, not you as well. A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it. If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more? Actually, there is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. And that's where you must strike next. Exactly. You can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue your summation examination. Okay. All right. He didn't stab him in the... I almost believe it's these two. I think it's the old lady and this guy. The psycho.
Hold it!
Careful, you. You could have hurt somebody with that. You're one to talk with what of that sword hanging at your waist? Hmm? No, that's just my battered soul. Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same, all stabbing some brickmakers, other behind the scenes. You mark my words.
Objection!
That seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Are you mad, man? We know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock. Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but Mr. Naruhodo, please, be careful what you say. If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned, he's as guilty as sin. The man can hang. Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhand activities? I think it's the old lady. I think it's the old lady with him.
Objection!
These two statements are contradictory. What? Explain, counsel, post haste. Oh dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask of you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of emotion was it? Huh. Want to test me, do you? The psycho, indeed. It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like the prim banker said. She's going to stab that woman next to him. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? Well, how would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madame? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches. What a muddle. Either stab her on the typewriter, right? Either stab her on or the typewriter, right? What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh, but why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Well, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. There we go. The scales. I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, dark jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it if 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. Now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Oh, God. Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Oh, God. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. Oh, they're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the 2 witness see 2 different moments of the same crime? Oh no, I didn't mean... There's an outside chance of almost anything you care to mention. What is it, Miss Susato? Ah, you see, this evidence makes it quite clear. There isn't even an outside chance of what the juror is saying. How did I miss that? Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of question. What are you even talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question. Alright, let's save. I know what we want to pick. It's the crime scene report. The autopsy report. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once. Eh? Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won. What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me, or I'll slice your face. I'm gonna slice your mustache off and make you. I'm gonna wear your face. Oh, holy shit. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor sharp blade and shave every last hair off of his head. Yeah, this has to be a Jack the Ripper type character. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand for 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate. The trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. I call upon you all to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. Oh God. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive this courtesy. Lord Van Zeeks? It's cold in here, is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination, so I honor the deathly silence and listen to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There's nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we glance or grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Oh God, he ripped off his cape. He ripped off his cape, man. Witnesses. I trust you heard the summation examination we just had to endure. Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, sir, I heard it. Yes, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo? Yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of filth of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh mio dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. We will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it. But, well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, yes. He stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. Think so? You think so? Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom 5th passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little Kazanog. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The Guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination if you please. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely.
Hold it!
On your carriage, but you didn't charge them a standard 4 pence fare. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last run of the pay. I was so cold. It was all I could do to stop myself passing out. I'm getting chillblains just listening to you. It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Does the coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have another we would have had another suspect. Oh geez. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5 pieces across the board. It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed. It's gone, dead and buried. I'd have been happy if it had never existed in the first place. If it had existed ever in the first place. He fiddled us on the fare, he did. Hold it! This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir! A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man in the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Good gracious! Really? We have yet another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath. See, that's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. Okay. Hold it! So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him. That's what I said, is it? It was bothering me before this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet, zero evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Just jars with me. Oh yes, he... Okay. Hold it! Earlier, you testified that the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, that's right. You said the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then I turned around. Yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow was holding the handle with the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really thought I did, but when I go over it in my head, No, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment.
Truth! Excuse me.
Excuse me. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him very cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime committed? No chance! Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene. I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me. I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Eat the cane, indeed. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Blood-soaked hands? Blood-soaked hands, huh?
Hold it!
Blood-soaked? Ahem. Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. And you saw that from the roof? Through the skylight? Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. And there was a lamp inside the carriage as well. So I'm quite sure of what I saw. This banker's latest statement. I feel there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have good luck through the court record. There's only blood on one hand. Somehow, we've managed to keep our chances alive here. True. Watch out for fair play climbing on omnibuses. True. Yep, we already did that. Okay. Blood-soaked hands, huh? We'll show you the blood-soaked hands that were gloved.
Objection.
Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit that soaked might be laying on a little thick, but anyway, that was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark colored stain there, but as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right hand glove. Arg! He's eating his cane, oh God! Even more! In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Yeah! But no! This can't be right. So you're the liar then? Yeah! That's right! You're clear about it! You said here! It was both hands! Grr! Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands. It was only one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Grr! Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie. Is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, we could turn the tide on this trial completely. I mean, I have evidence. My lord. Yes, counsel? The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Garg! Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. What? Mr. Fairplay? Are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a dad. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Arg! Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, when the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw, in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay! Yes, my lord! Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have the most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection.
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. So you keep saying. I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir? Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all of you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yarr! He went pirate there! He went full pirate! Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. Course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. What the witnesses really saw. There's blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife. And I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage or we all would have seen. Bullshit. Well, lo and behold, in truth or of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying what we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the scene, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. How could there be blood underneath the guy's body, by the way? Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Like, legitimately. This is underneath. This is underneath the body. That was blood on.
Hold it!
Okay. No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have gloves the defendant was wearing in the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defying even the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might have been mistaken about what he saw. But why? Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. However, I suppose you might say I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. Arg, but for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the Derby. That's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend. That's a sure thing. A little guinea or 10. I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. Excuse me? I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. The witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is it really how it's supposed to work? Remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attackers' hands with blood on them. Bullshit. You definitely saw too? Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know that what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilda's gloves had any signs of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilda sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir. I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there were no trace of blood on Mr. McGilda's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. I didn't actually see anything myself. No. Not until I heard that scream.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything? Oh yes, sir. This is insane. No, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It is very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir. I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? Oh my god. Oh, please. Didn't even see that. It was so cold that night. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppo! Ah! Anyway, fact remains.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incidents was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh? Why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right. And it's a public bus, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring, long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? Not from their angle, man. It's on the left, and they would be viewing this way and not be able to see underneath them. Yeah, they couldn't be able to see it. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight and the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there's a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure, but the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? I'm pretty sure. Because if you're looking down here, you're going this way, so it's obviously this.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on a roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Ah. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Arrgh! Damn it, my Wi-Fi went out and canceled my factory reset. Oh geez there, Bjarn. And hey there, Bjarn, how's Bjarn doing tonight? It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I think I have my suspicions. I honestly don't know who it could have been. Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck. I think it's Bruce Fairplay, maybe. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast. 2 hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, Consul. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. It's probably Magnus McGilded. The killer was probably seated next to him, and they did see him get murdered. Not bad, not great, but bad, but not bad. But mood swings because it's so late. Oh yeah, gotcha there, Bjarn. Yeah. I think it's Magnus.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, Consul? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Oh, he's mad. Oh, God. Being single at 11 p.m. is legendary, but at 1 a.m. it's devastating. Oh, yeah. But, as with everything, it's only a matter of time until it's not, that is not going to be a thing. You know what I mean? If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hello chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations of Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms of ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of artless backwaters such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to that fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, Consul? Defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, there's actually science behind it. behind it, by the way, because you get less distraction, you think of it more, and you create specific hormones, something that makes you more sad. Yeah. Yeah. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. But then again, I don't typically stay up to 1 a.m. I don't typically stay up to 1 a.m. anymore. I never was really much of a night owl. I was more of a morning person, to be honest. I stay up to like 9. Oh yeah. 9 a.m. Damn. See, I typically go to bed like 11, 10, 11, and then get up at like 7 in the morning. Even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of the events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary! I go to bed 8 to 9, then sleep till 1, 3. But I work 6. Damn. Damn. Yeah. Hey. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do there, Bjorn. But damn. 1 to 3 o'clock. Not a bad amount of sleep. Not a bad amount of sleep there, Bjorn. Order, order, order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. Tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things. What particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? Yeah, 5 to 7 hours a day, nice. Always been a night person? Oh yeah. See, I'm more of a morning person. I've always been more of an early riser. I've been that way since I was a teenager. The only time I slept past 10 a.m. was when I was at my cottage up in the north part of Michigan. When I was on vacation, I would sleep till noon. And noon would be about the time I got up. And then I felt bad because then I felt like my day was almost over before it even started. The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be so sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. No vacations. Yeah, no, and vacation 6 a.m. till 3 p.m. Damn. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused Mr. McGilded to the stand. Well, what do you say, Consul? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? I'm gonna demand his testimony. Time to poke holes in my own defendant. Goddamn. I must demand his testimony. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Ah, yes, I need a little more time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say! It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to stand at once. Now maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal the fact from the police? Begad, no! 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded. The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true? Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What?! No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly so sorry I am, Lord Von Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said none when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I ain't way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into the courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee ting just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Ah, smoke! Ah, fire! There's fire! Look, someone's trying to get away! What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody, and clear the courtroom. Someone set the goddamn... We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Mid scenes of chaos, as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber, we had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. To be continued. Holy shit! What a freaking... 18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Susato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of things ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl. Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilden was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilden, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She's taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems that there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. Trial recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes. Damn. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilden. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilden. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks? My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Your name, girl. Are you responsible for the smoke grenade with which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Ahem, if I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here. What it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. It will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, Begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remained somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Uh-oh. Here we go. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the... Okay. And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Can you explain exactly what you meant by the back seat? By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Then, begorra, a loud thud.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well, now you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me up, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor. You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether tinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said, I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Lord Von Zeeks. Why would that be? You wake up to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. A normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offered them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it on, so I was. Only I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time, instead of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where the scream came from.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage. When did that get there? Just, well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. Yet Van Zeeks has made no mention of it. Wait a minute! There's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. There was stuff in there. There was stuff in there, and there was... Yeah, okay. There was definitely stuff in there. Nose growing. Something about it real quick. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. I read that as null. Nail. And that's when I found her. All curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself. Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball when our eyes met. Well, me heart nearly stopped beating in me chest. You're really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I got a wee chin wag with her. The seat opposite. That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there. You said this girl next to a corpse, sir? I've heard ingrown nails can hurt and infect badly. Yeah. They suck. They really suck, man. Well, as I'm sure I've mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof's deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Do we know the truth, or is that also a mystery for us? Not looking good for that guy, right? So this one, so most of the time, they don't give you, this guy right here is definitely not the one that did it. But, I'm kind of discovering the truth as we go along here as well. So we don't actually know who did it. I mean, I have a suspicion about who it could have been. It might have been the girl right next to us, but I think it might have been Mr. Bruce Fairplay, the guy that we already had. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. Makes this game 1,000 more fun. Oh yeah. Maybe the coach driver could be as well. It's certainly possible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Oh my God. She shot the judge. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl! She's gone! Open your eyes. I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point of that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on! That's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast... Or maybe they were making a sandwich and slipped, right? Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, all right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess. You don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this was in the bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Don't wave that thing in my direction again! So, You admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. Pretty sure it's illegal to have a smoke bomb, a gun, shooting someone, smoke bombing someone, gunning a judge, fleeing the scene in courtroom. True. Tis all right, lass. You can tell him the truth now. All right, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened on the omnibus in the night in question. That's at least a couple decades there. True. All right, if I have to. Witness testimony. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was right, old waste time. Got a muffin to show for me troubles that night. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hind place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of me skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that, the swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity instead of me, lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sat for that night. And the cubbyhole for which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Oh. There was shit in there, by the way. Fun game, to be honest. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love the Ace Attorney games. I love all of them. I've never played this ever before, but I've played through the Phoenix Wright games. Fantastic. They're very humorous, very fun games to play. Yes, it does appear that they're just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. These games are some of my sister's favorite games of all time. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah, so you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question? Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of the less fortunate lass. My goodness! What a perfect gentleman! My lord! This fine example of man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. Uh-oh. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to the verdict of not guilty. Mr. Naruhodo, well, it must mean what? That we're victorious. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Oh God, why are you putting your foot up? What the hell's happening? the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. Because opinions and assuming holds up in court, right? This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in the British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's last statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks. No, it isn't. Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of the little compartment under the seat of the omnibus? It was, of course, it wasn't empty. Man. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense, as far as I remember at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, Counsel? Be with? What are you saying now? You daft daw? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something that compromises his position? As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand, but it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. 'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then. A fella's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the sea is empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? Oh geez. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. Guide's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and pick person are lying. Oh geez. Can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. Oh God. What have I set in motion? With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. But every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there's a matter of outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. Okay.
Hold it!
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run. Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending a joy to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it? Especially means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her. Well, that does clear up a little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making 20 to which the cabman testified. And one of those scapegrace riding for free. This download ain't going past 33 for like half an hour? Damn. Yikes. There, Bjarn. The red clunk of the driver always goes for some grub before its last run. So that's when I slip into the carriage to get myself in and under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. Always chucking all that out and cram it into a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by a police officer who arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. Seems we reached the end of a line of inquiry. Continue. Well, it's right old waste of time.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the God permit at least some of the time. I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit? Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You say omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. That's why you got out of your hiding place and ran away. That's it. Only that night. This cove was set on me. This cove was set on me from the start. He didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the closed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister. To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on to find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hind place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all. Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Now I can have a butcher's at whose I'm going to fiddle. Thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plan themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. For that reason, we weren't able to push the cushions and peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Hobson's choice. In the open then. True. I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Then after...
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes? Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at the crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I added the chance, didn't I? Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen and floor on the seat opposite. Oh my god, that was horrible. I mentioned Mr. McGilded's account, but then the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. I was scared stiff. He dragged me out and sat me down in seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Oh, how awful. Both me and Inns got covered in blood. It made me feel as sick as a dog. It must have been what rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted me to know my name and what I was up to and all that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on roof deck, one would presume. I didn't want no one seeing my face, so I didn't look up. That's when horses were drawn up, smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury have decided the defendant was innocent. For a brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure that would clinch a verdict we want. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm getting tired, so I think this is where we'll probably quit it for tonight. We'll come back at it. We'll come back to this on Monday and hit it fresh. So I think this will be where we end for tonight there, guys. Obviously, we'll come back and hit this a little bit more fresh. But yeah. Was also the case with my PC, so probably big file or something, most likely there, Bjarn. Hell yeah. But again, thank you to Bjarn, thank you to GFX, thank you to Scotticus, and everyone that lurked tonight. I always appreciate you guys. I will see you guys on Monday. Again, no stream on Saturday. I'm going to my best friend's place, so I'll see you guys after the long weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.